Classic a little bit later today, so I have to scoot out and help, and so I appreciate you guys giving me that flexibility. I think there's always a combination between what you've done professionally and what you've done personally, and I think that's good to point those things out. The fact is, I was formerly elected school board member, and I have remained very involved in the community in many ways. I heard reference earlier to occupational licensing reform. That is definitely something that I've looked at. But what I like to do is, where has it been done and where is it working? That is what I look at in almost every situation. I say, how is the problem being solved somewhere else? Two questions I frequently ask myself on a personal basis is there anything that I can personally do to change the situation? And if the answer to that is no, then I adjust to the situation, but there's almost always something I can do. So for instance, Arizona has looked at this occupational licensing reform problem, and this is what they have done. They have said that if you have met the standards of the board in the state, and if you have worked at least a year somewhere else, you will get a license right away to work in Arizona as long as you pay your fee. Ohio and Oklahoma have done that to some extent. So that is what I look at in every situation. I say, okay, who's doing it well and what can we do? When I was on the school board, I brought two major things to that school board. The first thing was Manufacturing Day, which has now been adopted by other school systems and by the shipyard and is working very well. But the other thing I did was something called North Star, which is basically a process management system. Those of you who might know the term Six Sigma, it's something like that for education. And what it does is it looks at your process and says, how can you streamline it so you can save money on process to put money back in the classroom? The first year that we implemented it in Williamsburg, James City County Schools, we saved $250,000, which could be put back in the classroom. No jobs were cut, no people were taken rid of, we simply streamlined our process. At one point we thought that we would centralize our paper usage. That didn't work out well, that was a big problem, but we ended up centralizing our copying. That process actually exists on a state level, and that would be something that I would like to bring to the area. So essentially what you do is you have somebody who looks at the problem, doesn't say it can't happen, works with other people to implement a solution, and that's what you'll get when you send me to Richmond. Thank you so much for having me. I'm going to run out to New Horizons. I left a couple of cards in the back, and my phone number is actually on there if anybody wants to follow up. I wish I could have the time to do that now, but I need to go and help New Horizons.